G'day Battlers, and welcome to episode 50 of the G'day Battlers podcast. And episode 50, a very special milestone, and what better way to celebrate it than bringing on all three first place, second place, and third place from the 2022 Melbourne Regional Championships. We're joined by Rick Flario and ValiantVish and g0ne1001, and also Debbie's here. Hi, Debbie, as well.
Hi. That's all right. I got fourth place in Perth.
All right, we'll count it. I guess I got fifth at Sydney, so we can really round out the entire quintet. So well done, everyone. We've done well. But obviously today we're going to be continuing on, or in some arguments, starting the Road to World Series for the 2025 World Championships in the series that we're bringing on all of the Aussie World Championship qualifiers that are going to Worlds to sort of talk through their seasons and, seeing how we can go. I'm going to pause for a sec. Forget everything that I just said. We are going back to just two of the top three from the Melbourne Regional Championship. We have lost Rick Flario on it. We're going to have to circle back and get him on another time. Instead, today we are just going to be talking to ValiantVish and g0ne1001, two of the mainstays from the Australian PvP scene. But Vish, g0ne, welcome in. I guess Vish, maybe we should probably start with intros. Vish, do you want to sort of introduce yourself and sort of, who you are, what you do, etc.?
Yes, ValiantVish, aka Vishal Naidu. Qualified for Worlds for the fourth time, so looking forward to the podcast and the show. Yeah,
one of the few guys that can say they've been to sort of all four at this rate, which is definitely pretty cool and something. It's still running at this rate. We'll talk about that a little bit later, though. And g0ne, welcome back to the podcast. You're on after qualifying for Worlds last year. Who are you, etc., etc.
Yep. So prior to last year, I was sort of the person that almost qualified to Worlds. Previously, when you'd have to get a top two or a pass down and there was no points, I would always just miss out. So this is my second time qualifying for Worlds, which is very exciting. It's always a good milestone to qualify, especially from previous seasons when you just miss out. So and I've been playing since the very beginning as well.
Yeah, Vish used to be a New South Wales guy as well. So all three of us used to be part of the New South Wales scene, I suppose, until Vish decided to stab us all in the back and run away.
Sorry, guys. The weather's just great up here. Had to
move. That's all right. But look, today we're going to be talking about your 2025 season specifically. And so I guess we'll sort of go a little bit chronologically in a sense, which does mean that, I guess Vish will sort of dodge us for the first tournament because the first tournament of the season was Perth back in December of 2024. And g0ne, it was you competed in all three Australian tournaments this season. So I guess how was your Perth run?
Yep. So Perth run, I came 13th, so just made the top 16. And with the Aussie regionals, I think the minimum you needed was like top 16 to get points because we didn't have quite enough players to meet. I don't think it mattered, even if because they don't allow more players. I think top 16 was sort of the minimum to get any points. So that was sort of my goal for Perth. And a bit of context, Perth was the first tournament, but it was also the last tournament of the previous season. So it was sort of coming back to Perth just after a few months. It's really nice coming to Perth, and I don't mind it. But yeah, it's a bit surreal.
What's a bud?
Coming so early, like in the usually it would be like in May. But then we came in December, so they just changed the order of this year's regionals or this season's regionals for the Oceania region. So we sort of played in a different order this time around, which was a bit interesting.
Yeah, I don't really know why they went Perth back-to-back Perth, but hey, we both went anyway, I guess.
I live here.
They couldn't get enough of Debbie, right?
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
right.
Look, after the rumors of like Perth regionals was going to get scrapped and it was going to be like Adelaide regionals, I was just like, all right, okay, it's not happening. And then having it sandwiched like 2 Perths in 1 year, I was like, oh, sweet.
Yeah. I mean,
you guys all coming this way.
Because we had the Perth regional stream for the first time at the end of the previous season, maybe they just wanted to run it back. They were like, you know what? That was an all right show. We can do that again. It all works out at some point. But yeah, so I guess maybe we probably should have started in some sense with G0ne. What was your sort of goal, not only going into Perth, but I guess going into the 2025 season as a whole with the 3 tournaments announced? Actually, no, not all at the same time. We didn't get Melbourne announced for ages.
Yeah. So the goal was to qualify to Worlds for a second time, but I knew it'd be a bit difficult to qualify this time around because how they did it was, so this season there wasn't a minimum point score to get. It's actually so they changed it to top 10 qualifies, plus if there's a winner, the top 10 would drop down to the next person. But so this season, like, I felt like it was really competitive to qualify, and I felt like if you really wanted a chance to qualify, you had to play in all 3 Aussie regionals just to get the points, and at the same time you had to do pretty reasonable at all the tournaments. So my goal this season was to obviously qualify, but to do that I wanted to be more consistent and like at least get some points in every tournament, because in past seasons like that you'd have a bad tournament and you just miss out on missing out on points or whatever. It wasn't as bad back then, but this time around, like, every point mattered, or I felt like it did, with just how they did it, and also with a few players getting to go to some ICs with the travel award. Like, it was new this season, so the fact that other players would have that advantage just going to an IC and getting those extra points, being able to participate in another tournament. So the goal was really to be consistent this season and like just get as many points as possible in tournaments, and just really need to up my game and be more consistent. And I think for Perth, although I didn't top cut is top 8, I did make top 16, which I think I was fairly happy with. The person I lost to in Perth, I think it was Avrip, which he came 4th in that tournament. So like I didn't feel too bad about that, but at the time felt pretty bad, like when I was on a good run. But yeah.
Yeah, I believe in that match it was a 1-2 as well. So it came down to game 3, which is always a little bit heartbreaking in the losers bracket. But again, like you mentioned, Avrip did make it all the way to top 4. So it's still pretty cool accomplishment to come all the way to Perth and get some points on the board. And I think that it's really cool to see the mentality change from last season to this season, and how your goals have shifted to trying to like aim for at least points for each regional. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely. I think this season I made a better process, like, to prepare for things, like in terms of practice tournaments or scrims with other people, or just to be comfortable with the team that I'm running. So those are sort of some of the things that I tried this season, and I think they've worked. Like, I'm not going to go at 11 p.m. the night before and just put in a new team, because that didn't work for me. Maybe it works for other people, but for me, I need to have like a bit of practice with the team, and then sort of know like what each mon does, and how to like best utilize it, and also how it works in the current meta, or whatever the meta is at the time, like what the purpose of each mon is. So yeah, that's really important. Like team building is potentially a big part of being consistent, and so running a consistent team, or a team that you're comfortable with, I think is an important part as well.
Yeah, and to be fair, I think it was a little bit extra hard for Perth when Galarian Corsola had just been released, like just beforehand as well. Which, I mean, I was going to say I think, but I Dracoviz tells me that you were running it, so I don't have to guess. But it was a bit new to sort of figure out. But no, a pretty solid to start off the season. Again, as you sort of said, the general mindset of I guess the Oceanic community was you sort of need to get points at every regional to sort of put yourself in the best spot to try and qualify. And so pretty nice to start off the season with a success in that regard. Even if, I'm sure you would have preferred to win, I suppose, but points on the board, definitely a nice place to start. Another
one of my goals was to win a regional. Didn't quite get there this season, but like I think I was close in some respects. It's just a few people just possibly got in my way, and a few things I need to improve on. But that's definitely still a goal to actually like take a whole regional, like if that is possible. I think I can do it, but we have to aim high as well.
Yeah, and look, you definitely got a lot closer later on in the season, but I guess we'll get to that when we get to it. But I guess let's move on to Brisbane, where Vish did compete. Both of you competed, and I guess maybe you should ask now. I mean, Vish, what were your goals going into the 2025 season? Because I think they were a little bit different than your goals in the past.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't really have a goal this season, unlike previous seasons, which was to qualify or to win tournaments. The reason why is because I was just being realistic. I calculated beforehand that you'd probably need to have participate and let alone do decently well in 3 tournaments to qualify for Worlds, as Gone described with the new format. And so, yeah, I was kind of resigned to, hey, you just got to win one thing. You got to win it, or you're not qualifying for Worlds. So yeah, that was my goal. I was just kind of going in with no expectations or really low expectations in terms of performing at the regional.
I mean, myself and many other people were all sort of like maybe hyping you up, being like, "Oh, Vish is back competing, watch out!" And you just kept brushing us all off. You were like, "Nah, I'm retired, guys. I'm washed."
Oh yeah, I mean, I hadn't competed in a long time, right? Since Worlds previous year, so it had been a while between drinks, and I've not really been playing much GBL sort of in the lead up to it. So I just didn't know what shape I was going to be in. But I think, when March rolled around and the new format was kind of released and we kind of knew what the meta was going to look like, I kind of had a good idea of what I wanted to use or play with. So I did actually put a decent amount of preparation like 2 weeks beforehand, before the tournament began.
Yeah, I believe you mentioned it on the broadcast as well, that you were doing scrims with Legends Unite and trying to get an idea of the meta going in. And I know what Steve said was totally true, because we kind of hyped up the stream to be a Vish is back kind of spin on things. And I think it was very much like you were a favorite for Brisbane. Do you want to talk about your run in Brisbane and how you went?
Yeah. So like just to top things off, I think this team that I had, just pulling it up on Dracoviz right now, I think it's probably like one of my favorite teams that I've created. It's quite a unique team because going into the meta, there'd only been a couple of tournaments, so the meta hadn't even stabilized yet. So there were a few things that still had potential viability. So things like Claydol, I believe Lapras was hardly even used, and then Galarian Weezing. Like those are the 3 initially that I wanted to sort of play around with. I just ended up sort of creating this team, which is just focused on flexibility and giving me options in the mid game and the late game. And I mean, I think I'll be honest, I didn't have the final squad until the night before. But I had variations of what I was working with. like sort of throughout my testing process. And so like the way I like to work is I actually just like to run a whole bunch of different teams, and like just try and figure out like what the meta looks like, and adapt accordingly with my team of 6. I'm not one of those, the stereotypical advice would be to, once you've got your 6 locked in, try and get a lot of practice in with that 6, and you'll sort of understand the ins and outs. I've got a bit more experience in terms of like, once you've got the 6 in, I was more focused around what are good cores, and how do I sort of break the meta accordingly. And that's the ultimate design of this team. Was to give me that flexibility, because I knew that if I put myself in positions of flexibility, I think I can go to toe-to-toe with the best players in the world. So that's kind of more the playstyle philosophy of what I was going for with the team. I guess the team, it's like Claydol, Gudra, Lapras, Pangoro, Talonflame, Weezing. Like, definitely a few odd picks. The unique thing about this team, though, I mean, one of my philosophies with team building is like I always like to run different typings, because I guess if I run or double down on typings, which is a very common way to team build, it feels to me like when I pick my 3, I can become very predictable, right? And so going with different typings allows me to be a bit more unpredictable, or allows my opponents to not read me as well. And that's why I really, really like this team, and the core breaking potential of this team. It made it just really fun to play. So, yeah, I mean, just going through the Dracovic stuff, I had a pretty strong start. Faced pretty meta stuff like throughout the tournament. Faced Fortwa, so Greg from America, round 3. He was actually running some anti-meta stuff, Spiritomb, Togetic. I guess I was running a bit of anti-meta as well, right? You could say. So
I was going to say.
Yeah, that was good. Round 4, I came up against Choose, so sort of really good battler out from Asia, and he kind of, that was an 0-2, but I felt like I made a few mistakes, and I just, I'd probably put that down to rust. Like there were definitely a few Boza swaps from my end, or things where I was not reacting fast enough, where if I look back, if I reacted fast enough, like I could have definitely taken both matchups away. So those were close games, if I remember off the top of my head. Then went down to losers. Had to go through like, Sammy P, Mikey, Rick. So like it was a decent run there. And I was just sort of building confidence. Like, again, I wasn't looking at points like top 16, top 8. I was just trying to, just take it one game at a time, as I usually say, and see how far I go. That last match, again, against Choose, I lost out 2-3. And I felt like, it was very close, right? But I think he just made a really good team read in game 5, and he got me there in the end. But no, it was a good tournament. It definitely surprised me in terms of how well, not how well I played, but just in terms of the results. And it gave me a little bit of confidence. I kind of still know what I'm doing in this game.
Yeah, and like just to say it out loud, because it hasn't been said out loud yet, that if you add up all of the wins, that did put you at 3rd place. I mean, like obviously you said game 5, that was the losers finals with Choose's finals himself. But it was very, I do think your team was very cool in that it had a complete, like there was no doubled up typings. Like I remember whenever we learned that on the broadcast, I thought it was really awesome. And I think that as far as a team match is concerned, I felt like that matchup between you and Choose was really cool in that you had a very, flexible, as you said, dynamic team where you could sort of could play a lot of different ways. And Choose just ran this like triple ABB team where like he had 2 waters, 2 two ghost types, two
poison types,
two
right?
poisons, two poisons. It was all just a very structured in a very traditional way.
And I remember like I was just trying to predict that, right? Because as soon as I saw his team, I'm like, okay, I kind of know what he's doing. And so when I lost 0-2, I kind of sort of read through my notes again, and I was like, okay, like he's clearly leaning on ABB or ABA. Because like doubling down on typings in that particular meta, like it made a lot of sense. So I was trying to target that, but unfortunately he just got the better of me there in game 5. I think I had a really bad alignment there in game 5, I think. Yeah,
which happens, but it was definitely a cool run to watch. And I guess we'll get back to sort of actually no, I'll just ask now, how did that feel to sort of place third place? Obviously you mentioned sort of feeling like maybe you've still got it a little bit, but what was going through your head after that third place finish, where you were sort of like, this is sort of my I guess winning in a sense, even though you wouldn't have put it in those words?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely felt good. Because I like again, I hadn't played a lot, and then in my practice, sort of in the lead up to the regional, I was absolutely getting smashed, and I was questioning myself, like, am I actually even good enough to do this or compete in this anymore? I'm like getting older as well, so the skills are. Like, and I don't practice or play as much, so the skills are not going to be as fine-tuned as some of the other battlers in the world are. So I definitely felt like that particular result helped me at least instill a little bit more confidence in my ability. It put me in an interesting position to decide whether I do another regional or not, because all this time I was basically just going to do Brisbane. And then, that was it, because I was not going to do an international. I was not going to do an overseas regional. So like that result made me think. And I ended up going to the next regional, which was in Melbourne.
Yeah. I think it's pretty cool to see you quote unquote come out of retirement and be able to be like, oh yeah, just like warm up the hands and suddenly just take a third place in a regional. So that was pretty cool, and I think that really lit a spark for you to continue. And like you said, like you've got family commitments now, you've got a lot of things on your plate, so it wasn't the predicted run. That's pretty cool. But and also we had g0ne. So g0ne, as Steve mentioned earlier, had participated in all the Oceania regionals. g0ne, tell me about your Brisbane run.
So, with a bit of context about Brisbane, so I think we were on a very new meta. It was like we had 2 weeks when the was it Might of Mastery?
Yep.
I think it was. Might of Mastery just came out, so everybody was scrambling to figure out like what was good, what was not, and like I don't remember the exact changes for that, but like it was what was it? Psywave Lapras and stuff like that, and a few other things. So everyone's trying to figure out what is good in this new meta, and like same with me, and I was doing a few practice tournaments trying to figure out what was good, and I ended up coming up with this like Guzzlord Lapras team, and also I really liked Galarian Weezing. I think I was one of the only other players that had Galarian Weezing, but I had a Shadow because way back when I was able to save one and then evolve it during that rare time period that you could evolve it. Some feedback for Scopely or Niantic that they need to like make the evolutions for these Galarian or Hisuian Pokemon like more common, but anyway, so I made this like Lapras Guzzlord, and Guzzlord was really popular at that tournament as well. And I think it was quite good for what people were running in the meta. But in terms of my tournament run, so the only Pokemon I did not want to see was Wigglytuff, because I wasn't. I had answers to Wigglytuff, but my team was very weak to Wigglytuff because I had Guzzlord, Annihilate, and a few other things. So Wigglytuffs I can handle, but the other Pokemon I did not want to see was Talonflame. And my tournament run was very iffy because the first 2 rounds, my first opponent, he had a Talonflame and Wigglytuff, and then that was really tough. That was really tough matchup. I won 2-1. I think it was against a local Gerald Bay, a local Brisbane person. So that was a really tough round to play. Like my very first round, it was very RPS, and that's not how I sort of like to play. But and then my next round, I think my next round was also against a Talonflame and the Wigglytuff player again, but they also had a superior, I think, which was very very tough for my team. So this was against Bratowski, which was a Brisbane local as well. So I think I played. So the round 2 I actually lost, unfortunately. So that pushed me into the losers round quite early, which not what you want in a tournament. But basically, I think I played the only 2 players that had Wigglytuff and Talonflame in the first 2 rounds. So it was all uphill it was very uphill for me from the start of the tournament. But then after I dusted myself off from those 2 really tough RPS matches, which not ideal, then I think I played a few other normal matches. Like when I say normal, I mean what I was expecting to play. So I think I played another local, and then I think I played a Japanese player as well. Rally, I think he was Japanese, and my Annihilate was really good against his team. It was very safe. And then so that was in round 4 losers. And then next I played Fishy Legs, and he previously, did he win a regional, or he came second, I think?
Second to some other guy on this call, I think.
Yeah. So he's another Brisbane local that did really well, and I was able to just beat him. It was 2-0, but I think they were really close games. And then my next round opponent was unfortunately a local player, Rick Flareon, which I think he came 4th in Brisbane, 3rd or 4th. So I think there's a recurring theme. I always lose to like 3rd or 4th player who finishes me off in my losers round. So unfortunately, so I finished in the top 16 again. I think 13th or top 16. So I was able to gain points. But so after a really tough start, playing the only Wigglytuff players, I ended up losing to a local player, Rick Flareon. But he's always a tough player to beat. But my Brisbane regionals, I say, started off RPS, and then you play your local champion Rick Flareon that goes to all the. He actually went to all the ICs this season because of the new travel award that they're able to get. Which I think that's a really good system. But yeah, so having to play good players. But in terms of my team, I think I was pretty happy with my team if I played a few of the normal teams, because I think Galarian Weezing was really underrated, and Guzzlord was good for that tournament, and Lapras was also really good, and then a few other supporters as well, like Annihilate, Alolan Sandslash, and Jumpluff. I think this was the Jumpluff where I think I ran Energy Ball. I didn't run the Double Flyer at that point. But yeah, a bit of spoilers from maybe the next tournament.
Well, I actually did check just to make sure, and you did play literally the only 2 players that had Wigglytuff in the entire tournament in your first 2 rounds, which is pretty awesome. Obviously, it's not that awesome for you, but I thought it was pretty funny, to say the least. But still, you know.
I actually would have, if I had a Shadow Galarian Weezing, I would have run it as well. But I didn't have one. But I would have run the Overheat set, because I ran a covered set instead of a lockdown set in Sludge. In Brutal Swing. But yeah, I mean, Galarian Weezing, like Gon said, is a really good call.
Yeah, and you didn't run Overheat, did you, Gon?
No, I ran. I felt because it was Shadow, you could just run Brutal Swing Sludge because Sludge was newly buffed and it was really really powerful. And then a Brutal Swing was really good coverage against other things and really quick as well. So, and because you're Shadow, you don't technically need the extra damage from Overheat because you're outputting enough damage. So you can just keep staying in as long as you want and then just keep farming up or just dishing out damage really quickly. So I didn't really test Overheat, but I felt happy with my moveset for that tournament.
Yeah, fair enough. And I guess like where was your headspace at after, top 16 at Perth, top 16 at Brisbane, which in some sense was your like one of your goals in sort of getting points at every regional. But I guess what was your I suppose mindset going into or I guess leaving and sort of knowing that the third regional was upcoming?
Yep. So in the back of my head, I was always going to do all three, and now that I've got points from both, but it wasn't actually that much points because it was technically the minimum amount of points you can get in tournaments, and my locals was actually difficult to play because there was another player that kept for some reason taking all the cup and challenge points every single time, even when they're
maybe
maxed
that's
out.
why he left the call. This is just dogging out on Ric Flairion episode.
Yeah. So I felt like even though I had some points, I felt like it wasn't definite for me to qualify to Worlds. Like I had a good chance at that point, but to finalize it, I felt like I still needed to do the Melbourne tournament, and I was always planning to go in the Melbourne tournament anyway. So that wasn't a problem for me. Given living on the East Coast or in Sydney, it's pretty easy to go to Brisbane and Melbourne. It was just the Perth one I was really unsure of at the beginning, but it all worked out for that one. And yeah, so my mindset was like I was happy, but like I couldn't like just rest because only 10 players, theoretically only 10 in Oceania can go to Worlds. And when you're on the bottom, when I think I was like 8th or 9th on the leaderboard, I was like, oh, that's not like a safe spot because if someone gets enough points in Melbourne, they could overtake me, and then I could be like 10th, 11th or 12th or something like that. And then my hard work in Brisbane and Perth would not have paid off. So just to be safe, I felt like I needed just another top cut.
Yeah. Well, with the power of hindsight, you did need points in Melbourne. If you had only got your sort of top 16 at Melbourne, top 16 at Brisbane, top 16 at Perth, plus your maximum local points, that actually would not have been enough to qualify you for Worlds in this season in Oceania. So that is like 2 top 16s and locals actually isn't enough. You did need to go to Melbourne, and I guess spoilers, you clearly got points at Melbourne. Yep. We're talking to you now, and so I guess that that may as well bring us into Melbourne. I mean, so Vish, you actually did mention that originally you weren't going to compete in Melbourne. I think originally you had other Melbourne plans on the horizon, if I recall.
Did I? I can't remember now. Oh yeah, I think yeah, friends trip or something like that.
Oh no. Originally, ValiantVish, you were going to be on the mic.
Oh right, yes, casting, yes. I was going to cast. I already put my name in for casting. But yeah, I was pretty transparent with you guys on competing versus casting, and I just didn't expect the results to go my way in Brisbane, so unfortunately I had to duck out.
I think that's pretty well said after completion of Brisbane at the pub later. It's like, guys, I'm going to Melbourne. Sorry.
Yeah, you were pretty quick to decide, which and obviously and we can. Fair enough.
Why not?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, in hindsight, though, it was still like a pretty high pressurized tournament for me, right? Because, like I said earlier, like qualifying with just 2 tournaments, like I just didn't think that was possible, unless players. Like other players around the circuit kind of had a dud regional, right? That was kind of what I was hoping off, right? Plus also doing reasonably well as well, right? So I needed quite a few things to go in my favor to qualify, essentially. But I don't know, just after Brisbane, I kind of felt like, okay, let me just give this one more go. I'm in a decent position. Why not give it a go and see where it takes me? So yeah, that's kind of where I was at.
And again, it is sort of a scenario where, like, again, hindsight gives us all of the options as if they were so obvious. But even a third place at Brisbane plus max local points would not have been enough to qualify for Worlds. Like you did need some amount of points from Melbourne to sort of, I guess, get to the qualification zone.
Yeah, I'm glad I went.
Well, we're very glad you went as well, because you did quite a stellar run. Let's go through your Melbourne run and making it, I mean, like spoiler, but not spoiler, but making it all the way to fourth place.
Yeah, this is a crazy tournament for me, because like I said before, this is the one time I actually genuinely felt the pressure, where I'm like, okay, like every match counts, every game counts. So I've got to be in it mentally. And this was actually a very taxing tournament. Like we've had tournaments just a one-day tournaments before, but this one I felt mentally taxed at the end to the point where I just felt like I did not compete in my top 4 match because I was just completely burned. And that's again, maybe it's a me thing, because I was thinking about, I was kind of like almost overthinking certain matchups. But yeah, definitely felt burned after that one. But look, I think with this one, I just borrowed Nighttime Clash's team. Like I tried everything. I tried literally, I did scrim like a decent amount, tried everything. And I think Nighttime Clash's team seemed to be like just very, very good at what it does. I did make a change though, or a couple of changes. I ran Blastoise instead of for Alligator. Shout out, they love Jai. I actually, I actually talked to him because he was running Shadow Blastoise. He ran it in Brisbane, right? And so we were kind of talking to him a little bit about it. And I actually, so we went to dinner the night before the Brisbane regional, and we were kind of all sitting in the table, really cagey. I mean, everyone's already added their teams in, but no one really kind of wanted to reveal like what they were running. But I think They Love Jai, he was the first person to be like, oh yeah, I'm running Shadow Blastoise. I'm like, oh man, that is a good pick, because I was thinking about that choice, but I didn't go with that. And then everyone slowly started to reveal their picks. So I was like, oh, okay, maybe Blastoise could work here because it operates, kind of in a similar role to for Alligator. But, the big thing is that it's got that Lapras matchup, right? Which is Lapras was gaining in such popularity. It's very strong, very bulky, very good at what it does. And so I thought Shadow Blastoise is a good call. And then I actually ran a regular Drapion. And honestly, I'm blanking out as to why, but like I am genuinely blanking out. But there was reasons, because I looked at the Sims, and there were reasons, individual reasons as to why I was running it. I just cannot think off the top of my head now as to why. Yeah, explain to that, right? But yeah, so those are the two different choices that I made from the Nighttime Clasher team. And
Nighttime Clasher also brought in Claydol, where you brought your Diggersby instead as well.
Well, no, so context, Nighttime Clasher attended this tournament as well, which I did not know he was going to attend.
Oh, really?
He's my team. Yeah, he's my teammate, and he didn't tell me.
I had a heads up the week before.
Yeah,
because I saw him at a locals in Sydney, not Melbourne.
No, that's how I found out, gone through your picture, and I'm like, wait, what? Oh. What the heck's happening here? So I messaged him afterwards. He's like, yep, I'm here to compete. I'm like, okay, thanks for letting me know. and then I was prodding him, going like, oh, what are you running? And he's look, I think he wanted the win this year, so he did. He played he played it quite close to his chest. So like, I didn't want to push any further in terms of what he was running and what he was doing. So I was like, okay, look, let's just operate separately for now. But what he was running before, I think he was running, his ground type was Diggersby before. But then he decided to change to Claydol, and I believe that was because of the fire matchups, right? So yeah,
it was actually a week before when him and Out of Pocket, or maybe 2 weeks before him and Out of Pocket, just they were running the same team in a US tournament, and then Out of Pocket just went on a huge run and won the whole tournament.
Yeah, and it was him and his brother. Actually, Susson's here, Harry. He was the one who actually created the team. And those guys ran it off him. Yeah. It was Harry's team first, and then these guys were like, "Oh yeah, cool. We'll just jump on board." So yeah, those guys were here, right? Both Harry and Eric were here.
Yes, they did come. They surprised everyone by attending an Australian tournament in the US. But yeah, I'll talk a bit more about them on my segment.
Yeah. I don't want to talk too much about it, but look,
because screw those guys. Oh wait.
We can cut that out.
Yeah, look, I think just going through the matchups again, like Bamboss round 3, 2-1. I remember, like, there was just a couple of plays which absolutely tilted the heck out of me. Where, like, in game 1. I was basically 99% of the time. I was 99%. I was going to win that game, but he got his Tinkerton got a bulldoze debuff into I think my jump off, and it got a shield, and then he play roughed me, and then he ended up KOing me and winning the game. And I'm like, oh my god, like I was not meant to lose that game, and I somehow lost. And then in game 3, I was hard countered in the lead, in the swap, and just somehow found a way. And then against Yusei, it was the same thing, where I just felt like I was getting hard counted. Yusei was running a crazy team, but it's Yusei. He always runs different stuff. But this was even more random than I would expect. And he's a very, very good player. Like, he knows his mechanics. And so I knew I couldn't just get away with I couldn't get it. I had to have a good game plan around it. And in game 3, I don't know how I managed to pull that off, but I had to rely. With Pokemon Go, I think sometimes you kind of just, even when you're getting hard counted, it's very rare that players play a perfect game, especially in high stress situations like that. And I'm sure for Yusei, it was a high stress situation because he was competing with Steve, for basically a top 10 position to qualify for Worlds. And so I know he was gunning for it. And for me, obviously, I'm trying to gun for qualification as well. So this is huge, right? And in that game 3, as soon as I saw that Annihilate, I think it was into a Diggersby lead, I was like, my God, I'm just cooked. But again, I've been in a ton of these matchups before where somehow I just somehow find a way, but I've got to put myself in a position where I can see a win condition, but I can also put myself in a position where maybe the opponent can make a mistake. And it just happened to be where you say I think he would regret it. He'd tell you he'd regret making a decision there. I can't remember exactly off the top of my head. You're going to have to watch the video on that, but he gave me a chance. And you just don't give me a chance. I'm sorry. If you give me a chance like that in a high clutch situation, I'm sorry, I'm going to take it with both hands. So, unfortunately for you, I took the win there. So yeah, it was crazy because that was the game where I'm like, okay, I think I'm in the points. And let's see what we can do. I had to go up against Greg, and look. Greg outplayed me. I think in that game 1, I think I had win conditions too, but I think he knew all the win conditions and he knew how to defend against those win conditions. So he played that game really well. Game 2, bit salty about it, but there was a bit of lag multiple times. But unfortunately, it is what it is. And so I essentially conceded the match. There was a bit of back and forth with the judges on it, but the game state wasn't the best and wasn't favorable for me. But look, I didn't want to hold anything up, so decided to concede there. And then had to go up against Nighttime Clasher in top 8, which was honestly a highlight. Like, I think, like, if you ask me the question of like what were your highlights of the season?
Oh wait, Vish. What was your highlights of the season?
Yeah, so like I think it had to be 2, right? Because like going up against Rick in top 4 in Brisbane, that was really fun. It wasn't like fun for him because like Pangoro absolutely annihilated his team, and like Pangoro was such a good pick like for that specific team itself. But it was good for me to get one up on Rick because like he basically it was back Melbourne 2022. He beat me 2-1 there, and then he beat me in Sydney, and I'm like, dude, I need to. I need to put a good account for myself against Rick, so I was glad I got the win against him. But then Nighttime Clasher, right? And we didn't want an American to win this, right? Just saying this out loud, like we didn't want to win one of our tournaments, and look, he was a buddy of mine. Like, he's a good friend, he's a good teammate, and also in scrims, I actually do all right against him. I think I've got a mental edge over him. Just have to say that. Like, and I think he felt that pressure as well. But he's Nighttime Clasher. He's like, I don't know where he finished on the leaderboards. Like, he's one of the best players in the world, right? Like, he's very, very good. And so
he's very good at coming third. No, third or fifth?
Both talented.
Third or fifth, unless he goes to an overseas regional, which I think he's one of one, right, before this.
Oh,
right? So,
actually, you might be right.
So I'm like, not gonna let you do this, and it was a good game. It was a really, like, game 1. I'm like, I kind of know what you're doing. I got in his head, kind of read his entire team. Game 2, like, I'm scared to even rewatch that match because I felt I just completely blanked out the whole game. I don't know what I was doing. I think he won with like 2 shields and 3 Pokemon. Like, he absolutely destroyed me. And in game 3, I'm like, nope, lock in. You can't let this happen. And yeah, luckily things favored me there in the end. And got the win. So that was really good that I got the win over him. And then lastly, Alcal. Like, his team's crazy. Good on him. Good on him for winning.
Yeah, I have some words about the Typhlosion.
His team's crazy.
What's wrong with the double incinerate?
Well, no, nothing wrong. Like, it clearly was good. Like, actually, I needed the Shadow Drapion for this matchup. It cost me both games. Not having the Shadow, the Aqua Tail not killing the Typhlosion, which definitely was not helpful. But I think, like I said before, I was mentally so drained at this point. I'm like, dude, I don't even care anymore. I think at this point as well, like, we were all talking amongst ourselves where we're like, okay, this is enough for Vish to qualify.
Yeah.
Is it not? It looked like, based on usage results, based on Steve, like, and what he is or he isn't going to do, and myself, right? Like, I think it was between us 3, right? In that sense, like, and so, by this point, I already knew I locked it in, which is, like, I am, like, not tooting my own horn, but, like, being able to qualify with just 2 tournaments. I'm pretty sure, like, I'm the only one, without looking at the leaderboards, like, the only one to do it with just 2 tournaments. That's pretty nutty. Right?
On points.
On points, on points. But I'm pretty happy with that performance, and luckily
it's very economical. Like,
financially great as well.
You didn't have to go to a special event and try and, like, take it off the South Africans. It's all good.
I didn't have to go to Perth either. I've never been to Perth. I thought I was going to go to Perth, but I don't know when that's ever going to happen, Debbie. I'm sorry.
Save the
It's all right. We'll see. We'll see what 2026 season holds. But yeah, just it's okay. I'll come visit instead.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that makes a bit more sense. But yeah, look, I think just on its own, ignoring the fact that, 2 tournaments to qualify and all, a 3rd place and a 4th place finish is just so crazy consistent, and it's such an awesome showing. Very much ValiantVish never left sort of vibes from where I was sitting. But it was pretty cool to watch. But yeah, I guess that also brings to g0ne, who also competed and, needed this tournament to qualify for the World Championships as well. So I guess g0ne, give us the run through, because I know that you got very unlucky in one of your first opponents based on seeding as well.
Yep. So my prep leading up to this tournament, I saw that the out of pocket nighttime clasher / sustenance eater team was very popular, and I felt like it was very good. So I wanted to have some sort of counter to it. So my theory was, and I came up with this with my own conclusion, but I also spoke with They Love Jai, shout out to They Love Jai, about the Shadow Blastoise. Like, he made me a believer in Shadow Blastoise. Like, so I actually didn't talk to Vish or anyone about this. It was just, I think I did a scrim with They Love Jai, and then he completely destroyed me with Shadow Blastoise. I'm like, wow, what are you doing? And then he gave me a few notes about it, and it's like, you just have to be one rollout ahead. And then it's really good, because then you pacing into every 3. So I was like, oh wow, okay. So I just have to learn how to use this Blastoise, and then it counters Lapras, it counters a few other things, and it was sort of like a bulky for Alligator. So I was like, okay. So I built my team around Shadow Blastoise, and also if I could counter that Sustenance Eater and Nighttime Clasher team. Then this was before I even knew there was a possibility of them coming. I just knew that some people locally would run that team, because I felt like, because they completely reshaped how the meta would be, and I thought, okay, there's going to be someone in the regionals that's going to run the team. So just be prepared for that, and then just have a good team as well. So because this was towards the end of the Might and Mastery, and the meta was pretty much almost solved by that point, if you can say that. Like, people knew what the meta was. So coming up with the tournament, so I had the Shadow Blastoise. I ran Galissapod with Shadow Claw. So this is before Fury Cutter buff, but that was because I think against Diggersby or a few other things, it's really good. And then I had the jump buff again, and I ran Malamar. So normal, I'm not sure if Shadow Malamar was available, but I ran. So Malamar was really good because it could just chip and dip, and this was before. I think there was either a charm or some other buff. Or this was before the Dene buff. So, but Shadow Malamar was really good, and I also ran Galarian Stunfisk. No, not Galarian, sorry, Unova Stunfisk, the electric ground type, and also Tinkaton. And this may or may not have been the first tournament we can run Tinkaton. But anyway,
not quite. I think a few weeks earlier.
Yeah.
Maybe
it's the first Aussie tournament.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So my team, I felt like it was really balanced, and I had some scrims with it, and I was really comfortable with it. So then my first round opponent, though, my actual first round opponent was Inner Bloom, and he's a really good grassroots Aussie player that hasn't had. He hasn't had many showcases in the play Pokemon, because I don't think he's been able to play in many of the tournaments, and he's maybe he's like Vish, and he hasn't been playing as much recently, but he was still really good. So I felt like going into that matchup, I was like, he's going to know how to play. He's so I didn't want to I didn't want to sorry. I didn't want to underestimate Inner Bloom, because I know he's a good player. And he ran a Shadow Dragonite, and I think that's because it's his favorite Pokemon, I think. But even though I had Tinkaton, I knew that I still had to play around his team a bit. And it was actually quite tough, because he won the first match, and then I had to reverse sweep him. And I think the match was actually on stream. So shout out to Debbie and Steve. You can find that game on stream. But I think it was a really good I remember playing I was playing as good as I can to make sure that every advantage, every switch, and counter swap and stuff. And I think I had jump bluff, and I had to. There was 2 shields, and I just went straight for like the nuke move, and he didn't shield it, and then that basically like won me, like put me in such a big advantage that it won me the whole game. So yeah, so against Inner Bloom, that was really tough opponent. And then my next opponent, I think another local Hawk Aussie. I think he's maybe not of a seasoned player, as much of a seasoned player, but he still ran a very spicy team. He had like a Meganium, which is sort of like superior type bulk and a few other things. So he had like a very balanced team, and I just had to figure out like how to work around it. And I think Galissapod actually was really good against his team. So that was really good. So I think I got up to winners round 4. And then winners round 4, I play El Cavissimo. And I know El Cavissimo, he's a US player, and I saw him playing on the Candle Cult tournaments, and I just assumed, oh, he's going to play in some US tournament that's going to come up the week after, week before. So I had no. So the big theme about this Melbourne tournament, it was like the overseas players, so US, Japan, and Korean players all coming to this tournament, and you just had to be prepared for them. So it wasn't just about playing local Aussie players. You had to be prepared for these international players. So there was like a wave of these international players. So I play El Cavissimo, and I met him in person before at Worlds at Hawaii. So we were like sort of good friends, and like we're just having fun and taking it easy. And like I saw his team, and I was like, this is such a wild team. But like my team was really weak to Typhlosion because I don't know why, but I just really underestimated it. And during scrims, I was like, oh, no one's going to bring a double Incinerate or a Typhlosion. Like, I totally didn't call that, didn't make that call that it was a threat. And then I looked at my team, and I'm really soft to it. Like, even though I have a Blastoise, if Typhlosion can have 1 Incinerate up, he can technically just 2 shield and beat the Blastoise with Thunder Punch. So it was like playing against him, you really had to fight for the energy and energy lead or shield lead or anything like that. You needed any advantage you could get, but it's also very RPS-y at times. But he definitely had the team comp advantage. So unfortunately, I lost to El Cavissimo, but it was really, really tough. And then my next opponent, so there was a new up-and-coming local player, g0ne1001, and I think I mentioned earlier that I knew someone was going to run that Sustenance Eater out of pocket and Sustenance Eater team, a Nighttime Clash team, and lo and behold, g0ne1001 runs that exact team, and I knew exactly how to play against it with my team because my team was sort of built to sort of counter it. And so it was really close matches because g0ne1001 is a really good player. Like he's gotten really good in such a short period, or just this season. So he's a really good player. But I was able just to get the win out of g0ne1001. And then my next opponent is Sustenance Eater, and I did not predict this at all. I didn't even know he was coming. I was like, oh wow, this US, there's these really cool US players. They get to travel a lot. I wonder what that's like. And then all of a sudden there's just the Melbourne regionals, and then you just have to play one of them. And he changed his team slightly. He didn't run Diggersby, he ran Claydol, but basically it was exactly the same team, so I sort of knew how to play against that. But he's also a really good player, but I really didn't want, same as what Vish was saying, I didn't want a US player to sort of win the Aussie regional, not because we don't like US players, it's more because like, I felt like it stay. It sort of had to, I felt like it should stay like in Australia, Oceania, like we had to fight as much as possible because another thing no shade, but I felt like the US players were underestimating Aussie players. They just felt, they could just rock up, they could just, top 3, top 4, win a tournament, and we'd be really easy opponents for them. So I felt like we had to put up a fight and just show them that we're not that easy as they think. Like, we don't have as many tournaments, but there's still a lot of good players in Oceania. So I had to show, that was really important. So it was really good. I was able to win off Sustenance Eater, and then my next opponent, it's Alcavissimo again, and it's the team that just counters my team, and I'm like, I don't think there's anything I can do if he makes the right calls. And then, well, basically he made the right calls against my team, and basically it's what happened in previous tournaments. I lose to someone who gets in top 3 or 4. Actually, Alcavissimo, I think he came second.
Yep.
Oh, no. Did he come second or
he came second.
Third? Yeah, Alcavissimo actually came second. So I'm moving up in the world. I'm losing to second place, not third or fourth place. So I'm moving up a bit. But yeah, just that Typhlosion team. It was so tough because I didn't expect it, and I had play, but it was just very RPSy, and I couldn't make the right calls. So my tournament run for Melbourne, I felt like I had really good prep and really good run, but it's just these international players. They're just coming left, right, and center, and then they bring a double Incinerate team, and then you don't know what to do.
He made it tough. To say the least.
Yeah,
but
I had fun playing. Yeah, had fun playing him because he's a good friend.
Yeah, and it was obviously like a good run. I mean, Vish obviously was able to finish in 4th. You finished in 5th, and I guess again, it's I guess it was. You could call it the how do I word this, like the groundbreaking run for you this season, I guess. Obviously top 16, and then I think potentially I haven't quite done the maths, but maybe top 16 might have barely been actually maybe not quite. And so like going all the way to 5th, I guess, how did that feel for you to sort of cap off your Australian season?
Yeah, well, I was really happy I was able to top cut, so top 8. In a tournament, and I checked my previous tournament runs. I think every season I get 1 top cut, even though some other tournaments maybe not, I haven't done as well. But this season I was able to top 16, get points in 2 previous tournaments, and then also top cut in the next one. So I was really happy with that. And there's also like some prize money with top cut. I was like, okay, this makes it worthwhile. I remember getting some prize money in previous tournaments. This is how it feels. So I was really happy with that. It was like a really good boost for me, like that all the hard work and consistency is paying off in practice tournaments. So like it sort of proved that my process is sort of working. Just preparing leading up to a tournament, and also just playing in a tournament as well. So basically just having the consistency with all 3 Oceania tournaments, I was really happy with that, and I really wanted the top cut in the previous tournament. So being able to do it in Melbourne, I was really happy with, and I felt like Melbourne was a really hard tournament overall, because of all the international players, and I felt like there was something on the line. Like, just I had to get points to qualify, definitely, in that tournament. And then I felt like, just to be safe, like top 16 maybe you could qualify, but top 8 definitely gave me some. It just felt really safe to like getting top 8 as opposed to top 16, and whether that was enough for Worlds. And I felt like top 8 was enough.
Yeah, and I mean, it very much was, to be fair. So it was a really nice capstone, I guess, for that Australian season. Now, I guess, go on, we should probably quickly touch on NAIC as well, because you were able to attend as well.
Yeah. So the plan was, because I thought maybe I won't qualify for Worlds this year. So it was actually, and I did want to go play in an IC. So I was thinking about it. I was like, which IC could I actually do? And then, so LAIC was too early on, so I couldn't prepare much for that in terms of travel and figuring things out. And then EUIC was, I felt like, too early as well, and I felt like I couldn't prepare enough for that. So I was like, okay, can I make things work for NAIC? And then so it was even before Melbourne was announced, I was already planning to go to NAIC. And then something that came along the way was they announced that GoFest would be in New York, or New Jersey, the week before NAIC. And then I was like, oh, wow, I wanted to go to New York anyway. I was like, okay, this like totally lines up. I haven't done an in-person GoFest. So I was like, okay, in-person GoFest and NAIC, and I need a bit of a break anyway. So yeah, let's do it. Take 2 weeks off and then figure all that out. And then yeah, it just all sort of worked out. And then in terms of prep for NAIC, I was like, just doing my usual thing, practice scrims, trying to get comfortable with the team and figuring out a team that works. And I think it was a new meta as well. So was it Delightful Days meta? Yeah,
Yep.
I think so. It was the first and only meta where we have Delightful Days. So there was a few new things. There was like Dedenne and Fury Cutter and a few other things. So for that tournament, I felt like I just wanted to run something comfortable, and I felt like Dedenne was really good, and I think I felt like it worked. And so my team was actually, what was it? It was the Dene Drapion, Shadow Drapion, which was, I felt like a really good safe swap. For Alligator, because I kept seeing all these, for Alligator, because I had Shadow Claw, and I kept seeing all these Dust Clops. And so it was good into that. And then I ran 2 grounds. Was it Quagsire and Gligar, both Shadow, because I remember in a previous meta, Double Ground was really good, and I felt like I really wanted to pressure against Dedenne and Electrics. And then the final pick was Shadow Primate, because it was such a good safe swap, because the meta's getting, or the pacing on all Pokemon getting really quick, but with Shadow Primate, it's probably the quickest pacing, because you can get to 1, 2, 3, 4 into a Night Slash, and then you can basically not get switch, but you can reset switch or misalign for switch with that. So and also it had Ice Punch because it had play against some flyers. So in terms of my tournament at NAIC, I felt really comfortable. But the problem with NAIC was that I think they were using Wi-Fi rather than what is it, plugged in or wired internet. So there was a really big problem for me with some of my gameplay, and then there was a few errors running around, and it wasn't as smooth as previous tournaments. So there was a few one-turn lags here and a few things there, and not what I expected from an IC, but in terms of, I really enjoyed playing overall, but just some of the tournament experience, it really reduced it a bit. But seeing the players there and seeing how big it was, and just going to an IC in general is really fun, and I would definitely highly recommend it, especially if there's, a GoFest nearby as well that you can do. One of my biggest regrets was I couldn't go to Worlds when it was in Japan, and then they had Japan GoFest as well. So I'm glad I sort of got to do a GoFest and the IC at the same time.
Yeah, it's a nice little combo. And yeah, I mean, look, you were able to go 2-2. You won your first 2 rounds, and then ended up, losing to the Masked Asian, who are quite a good player, and then Desynced, who I know Vish knows well, but definitely a very strong trainer as well.
Yeah, I played quite
good Ricardo. Okay.
Yeah, I played really good players. And the thing with Desync, though, I was playing him in practice tournaments, and I was actually getting some good wins against him. But I think he changed his team so that it would be anti my team, because he saw my team a few times. So I felt like he had a team comp advantage, and he sort of knew my playstyle after we played in some practice tournaments. So that's sort of the downside in playing a lot of practice tournaments.
Yeah, in some sense. I guess you learn as much as your opponents do, and sometimes that doesn't work out. But yeah, still, look, you still got points. Not that you needed them, although I will say that does,
actually, I actually did need the points, because the reason. So my goal for NAIC was like, could I gain enough points to maybe get into a travel award for Worlds? I was like, is it possible? Because there's all these other players, and one thing I didn't know though was that Jimothy was going to not Worlds, to NAIC. So that was a surprise, because he was quite high on the leaderboards, and I thought, oh, maybe I can overtake Jimothy, and could I possibly come second? Like, is that a possibility? And I thought, okay, if I do really well in this tournament, maybe I can, because I just did the math in my head, and I thought, okay, Avrip's going, but he might need a huge amount of points. J-Love Jai is going, but he has a possibility of catching up, but he also needs a huge amount of points. Because and also Ric Flair, he was already first on the leaderboard, so I thought, oh, that doesn't matter. No one's going to overtake him. And I'm like, who's on? So I was fifth at that point, so I just had to beat Vish. He was only about 10 or 12 points ahead of me, and then there was Fort War and Jimothy. I thought, okay, there's a chance if I can do well in this tournament. If I could day two, my goal was to day two. Like, I really wanted day two, but second goal was, if I can't day two, maybe just get enough points to get travel award. And then I was like, okay, is that possible? Oh, but there was another player, Steve something.
What?
He was in contention for points too. He was a South African player. I don't know if you know him, but he did really well, and then he was really high on the board. So he was also potentially get that travel award points as well. So the Aussie contingent going to NAIC, everyone was sort of fighting to get the travel award, basically.
Yeah, I sort of knew going into it, if I outperformed you specifically Gone at NAIC, I would get the World's Travel Award. Was sort of like where my maths was. So it was a very interesting tournament. It was nice. Like, no one from Oceania attending NAIC needed NAIC for the Worlds qualification. It was all just a travel award race. And at the end of the day, obviously for Worlds, I mean, Gone, you were able to sort of achieve the Worlds. Or is it a stipend or travel award for fourth place?
So it's this season it's a stipend. I actually have to attend Worlds to collect a stipend after Worlds, but it still helps, I guess.
Yeah, it's still a nice little bonus. But in some sense, I don't know if this is more importantly or just more interestingly, the fact that we have both of you on the podcast as well is that on the LAIC Travel Award leaderboard for 2026, Gone and ValiantVish are actually tied on points for second place. Only one South African guy on top of that. I don't know why he's on our leaderboard.
But... first? Okay.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. All of my points from like the last 3 months.
Yeah. So the LAIC leaderboard is first place is Steve, second place is Gone, third place is Vish, which are Gone and Vish both on 717 points equally. But obviously,
I think I played more locals.
Yeah,
with the play points, Gone comes second. But
which is irrelevant because
means
it's the same. Like they've announced travel awards, all of the top four get the full prize money, and then 5th to 8th get the stipend. So both of you are getting the travel award for LAIC. So I guess we'll talk about. We'll try and be a bit quick, but I guess to quickly ask, what are your current thoughts on LAIC attendance? I mean, go on. What's the vibe?
The vibe is I don't have enough leave, and I really have to figure it out. But we'll see. We'll see. I can't reveal anything yet, but we'll see. Yeah. I also have to attend what's it called, a family wedding, like the week before. But yeah, let's see.
Yeah, I'm in a similar leave boat. But Vish, I mean, I have a guess as to where you might be, where your head might be at. But how are you feeling about having the LAIC Travel Award?
It's nice, I guess. Just in terms of acknowledging my achievements, but no, I don't think I can make that one.
Yeah.
I've actually got a family wedding as well, and already committed to. Time in November to that. So, and amongst other things, I just don't think I'm best placed for it. But I'm glad that they've changed the travel reward system so that they're getting more people or incentivizing more players in the sort of top half of the leaderboard to go. So that's really good.
It means that Greg from America, Greg from Australia also gets that full travel award instead of a stipend. Yeah. So captures him as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, and I think they're giving stipends to top 8. So 5th to 8th, they get a stipend if they can go. So that helps to some of those players that are willing to go, and then they also get a bit some cash to help them out as well.
Yeah. Oh, no spoilers. Yeah. I know that one of those guys in the 5th to 8th spot is 100% going to LAIC. So we'll find out when, I guess.
I can take a guess. Yeah. I wish I could pass down my travel reward. Honestly, it's
Yeah.
it's an ugly position to be in because I'm definitely not going. But I want someone else to sort of make use of that money. So I wasn't actually trying to take that away from anybody. But the system is the system, right? So if I could change that, I definitely would.
Well, literally just got announced last week, so
we could have guessed.
No one knew.
To be fair, I feel very similar, Vish. In I would prefer that someone else would go to LASE in my stead, but I don't know. We'll see how it all goes in the end. But it is what it is, and we'll still have some oceanic representation no matter what, which is nice. It's a good system on the whole, but congrats on a very solid 2025 season. But I guess the question then becomes the what next, Debbie?
What next is in a month's time will be Anaheim. So how are you both feeling leading into Worlds, and are we prepping? Are we going to wait for, a certain Pokemon to be released? What are your feelings on it, Gone?
So mine, I've tried to prep a bit, but then this new Pokemon Aegislash, where no one knows the mechanics and it's obviously going to be strong. It's a bit. I don't know, if you can prep before it comes out. So, you can prep on regular stuff that people are because it's one Pokemon, so you can prep against all the other stuff. But how is it going to change teams, and what's the meta going to be like, and how does it even play? So that's the question on everyone's mind. What's the strategy with it? How do you use it, and how do you get one?
Yeah,
I believe it is through GBL rewards. So you definitely have to go positive. How about you, Vish? How are you feeling leading into Worlds?
I mean, I couldn't have said it better myself. Yeah, it's a bit of a gray area for all of us, for the rest of the world, to be honest. But what I've done is actually worked on a core or a core 4 that I'd like to play with, regardless of the meta. I feel like this is probably my final Worlds, and so I've made it a point to play with my favorites. So there's going to be a lot of sort of Pokemon that I guess people may question, is this actually even meta viable, or does this thing even work anymore? But I'm going to try and make it work.
Gosh, I hope you're not playing Metachamp.
I'm not going to go full rogue and do an accent and pick Metachamp. But I'm definitely going to try and rely on some of my favorites and sort of pencil in some of the new stuff.
I love that.
A lot of my favorites actually have got good play into Aegislash anyway. So that's why I'm saying,
nice.
I think I'll be prepared for it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. I do think that it's certainly a pick that is making a lot of people pause in the lead up to World Championships. I guess rapid fire, one word answer. Gone. Would you prefer that Aegislash would be banned for the World Championships, or do you want to see it eligible?
It's sort of a favorite to everyone. I feel like it should be eligible. It's just I wish they just gave us more information sooner. I don't think it should be banned. I don't think it should be banned.
All right. What about you, Vish? Ban? No ban?
No ban. No, I think it's good. Right. I think it's good for the meta. They just need to make it accessible. That's the thing.
And as long as it works properly in the game.
Oh yeah.
Might be a more Peko situation. Who knows? It might be eligible, but then a couple of days out, they're like, you know what, still broken. So, but we will see in the next coming weeks when that does get released. Thank you both for coming on today for the podcast. Any last words or any shout outs or some socials that you guys want to bring up, Gone?
In terms of my socials, you can follow me on, I guess, X or Twitter, if you're into that. And I also do some, some finance videos here and there, just more informational if you're into that stuff. So, check those out if you're interested. But, hopefully see you guys at Worlds as well. And I think it'll be really fun.
Yeah. And Vish?
Yes. If you're into X, ValiantVish, you can follow me there. yeah, just some Discord channels. Looking forward to Worlds. I think it'll be good fun. It'll be interesting as well because it's the first time the meta is like kind of in a weird space. So I actually like this where everybody gets like a decent break going into Worlds. Like a lot of people don't, but I do because I frankly feel like Australians are at a disadvantage anyway because we don't get a lot of tournaments. So I'm glad that the rest of the world are not playing as well, right? Because it actually puts us all in an even playing field going into this one. So I'm glad everybody else is feeling as uneasy as we usually are. Yeah.
That's awesome. And lastly, I know I thought I finished on questions, but I forgot that we do have one random question that we'd like to finish on. And today's random question, and it's a bit unfortunate that Ric Flair isn't here because it was a bit targeted towards him. But the question is, if you were a Pokemon, which Pokemon would you be? So what do you think, Gone? What Pokemon would have you been if you were a Pokemon?
I'm just gonna say Dragonite.
Nice, good pick, solid pick. How about you, Vish?
Oh man, I wanted something deep. I needed a little bit more time, but I guess I'll just pick my favorite, Arcanine.
Okay, guys, we've confirmed ValiantVish will be running Arcanine at the World Championships. He said he was running his favorites, and he just said that.
Underfang Arcanine? Oh yeah,
it's got some play.
Maybe the Hisuian one.
Let me check on PV Poker what makes a good call with Arcanine. I'll be able to figure out Vish's team backwards.
There we go.
We'll bring it into the next podcast and we can talk about it. Thank you all for coming in today. Again, we'll see you at Worlds. We'll be cheering you on. And we'll see you guys in a month's time.
Yeah, I'll see you in a month, which is cool.
Cool. Thanks for having us. Cheers.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. Good luck for your Worlds prep as well. And I'll see you on the battlefield, gamers. Let's go.
Oh, yeah, that's all right. He's competing.
Oh, you sound very excited for me.
Yeah, I'll be with your bags on the corner. All right, see you guys. Thanks again.
Is it
Bye
cut?
for now.
Is that a cut? Okay.
Cut.
Well, okay, cut it.